Hi guys, thanks for watching my video. This is my NDE experience, and let me see. Let me get situated here. And let me see. It started. I went to church, um, to a Catholic church as a kid, and I was always told about heaven and hell. It was Our Lady of Lourdes Church in back in New York, Long Island, and I got sent there. It was the private school, so I went there, and I would get picked up from my house about a few miles out, about two towns over, and I would go to school, and they would tell me about, you know, church and the Catholic religion. So I was very scared uh, about heaven and hell, especially hell. So I was always praying to God about, you know, am I going to heaven? Am I going to hell? So I wanted to know as a kid, really young. I don't remember exactly how young, but I was very, very young. And I remember when I would go back to my house at night, I would be I had the top bunk bed. My brother had the bottom bunk bed at the time. And at night, I would pray to God. I would pray and I say to him, like, you know, all I want to do is go to heaven. I don't want to go to hell. And I mean, I was laying down there like this, saying, praying in my mind, thinking that God could hear my thoughts. So I would tell him, like, show me a sign. Just show me that you're real, so I'm not wasting my time. And you know, just show me something that you're real. Show me that you're real. Please, please, please. And it just kept constantly going over and over in my mind. At night until I fell asleep. And then this continued for a few days till one night I had done the same thing back on top of my bed, and I prayed, and I prayed hard this time. I mean, it almost hurt to pray because I was being quiet and I was really focusing hard on my mind and trying to believe that God was listening and that God will show me a sign. And apparently it happened, but how I got to that point, I had said to myself during that night, I had asked, all the other times was I was focusing on Jesus Christ, and I was focusing on the Father in heaven, like the Catholic. And I have nothing against Catholicism or any religions, but anyway, at that point, I had said something in my mind that, anything, God, excuse me. When I said God, I kind of changed the definition of it in my mind because I wasn't getting anywhere before to this specific Catholic God. So I had said, just I had this very vague idea. Like I just wanted a God, like God, something that maybe wasn't the Catholic God. Maybe it was just God, you know, that that rules everything. So I remember saying that right before I fell asleep. So it was different for me because it wasn't directed towards Jesus or my Catholic God. So it was just regular God. And I fell asleep. And in the middle of the night, um, I woke up. My eyes opened up very, very slowly. And I saw on the corner of my room It was very dark. So when I looked over to the corner of my room, I saw this little blue light, and it was very tiny. And then it had gotten, you know, bigger and bigger and closer and closer. So I'm laying there like this, and I'm looking, and my eyes are kind of like this, and I'm like this, and I see this light, and I kind of kept my eyes halfway shut because I didn't want to have this light see me, you know. I guess I was trying to hide, but it kept coming closer and closer to me, and as it got closer to me, I remember, I remember being real scared, and if you think spiritual experiences or anything like that, an encounter like that is supposed to be blissful. To some, yes. I mean, it was beautiful, don't get me wrong. It was amazing to see that, but I was also scared. So it came up closer and closer, and by this time it got like right up to my bunk bed. And I remember I couldn't scream out to my mom, couldn't scream out to my dad, couldn't scream out to anybody. So I said, "Oh God," or "Oh my God," and it went away. Went away like that, and I fell back on my bed and closed my eyes and fell asleep as if it didn't even happen. It was very overwhelming. It was emotionally draining. So I had just laid back and gone to sleep. Um, the next morning, I remember waking up. I'm 33 years old right now. Today. Not today, but, right now. It's not my birthday or anything. 33 years old. This happened years ago. Years ago. And, I remember waking up the next morning, not remembering who my mom was, not remembering who my dad was, but I did remember that I had a brother. So I got out of my bunk bed and I looked around, and I was yelling for my mom and dad. They had gone to work, and my grandparents were downstairs, so we were sleeping. We were staying with my grandparents at the time. I didn't know who my mom looked like or my dad looked like. So I'm on the second floor looking through all the rooms, and I remember going to a picture to see, just to see familiar, to jog my memory. And I saw my family, but I distinctly remember my brother. And I went back to my room, and my brother was sitting up in his bed and was like, "What's wrong?" And I said, and I just looked at him and I was so happy to see him because my brother is he is the one that I spent most of my time with as a kid, and he's my older brother, and he took care of me. So uh, there was a lot of love there, and so I was relieved to see him. So I went back on my bed, and I remember talking to him from the top of my bed, saying, um, I didn't tell him about the light, but I told him that I didn't. I woke up this morning. I didn't remember. I didn't remember who my parents were or anybody else was, but um, I knew who he was, and I told him that I had felt like anything that happened from that night before I didn't remember, and I felt like today was the start of my life. I felt like I was born again. And I didn't understand it. And then, like I said, it's been years now, so I've done a lot of research. But I feel now that since having that spiritual experience, that it had changed my mind. It had changed everything about me. I was more aware of God, of something out there other than my Catholic religion and my Catholic religion God. And when I thought about it, this blue light that came up to me, I felt like it was uh, that tunnel. It was blue, and like my hands can describe it, just like the rays of the sun, just recreating itself. It was blue. And sometimes I thought about this many times. You hear about a white light, but then, and I'm thinking about, then why is mine blue? And I see white lights, white tunnels, uh, white light, and the outer side it's so bright it's blue. It becomes blue, the light, and I but most of it was blue, but and it was that path to that other side. Now I don't remember. I don't know if I had came out of my body when I saw this light, if I had stopped breathing in bed, and what I experienced was me and my outer body, or what. But either way, do I feel like I had a near death experience? Was I in a car accident? Was I flatlined? I really, no. I didn't. I wasn't in that. But according to NDE experiences, you don't having an encounter like that is also identified or defined to be a near death experience. As long as you have experienced something relatively close to the other side that has to do with the other side, that is very well a near death experience. So, that was my first account of this light. My second account had happened when I was 20. So much years later, after the first one. But after the first one, I still continued going to Catholic school. Then I was moved to a public school. But during my Catholic school, everything was different. I was still talking to God. It's like, no matter what sign God can give you, sometimes it's hard to believe. And in other NDE's videos, I feel like I wasn't given the time to heal. I didn't know how to heal. I never talked to anybody about it. I kept it all to myself. Never told my priest. Never told my mother. I never told my brother or my father. It was even hard for me to accept what I experienced as a child. Well, it was just almost as if I forgot it, and like I put it in the back burner, locked it up. But I knew that there was this blue light, and this is what I called it. It was always with me. It was always watching me, no matter what. That I'd be okay, regardless if I went to a church, regardless if I was out in the street, if I was in town, if I was having a bad nightmare, or if I had woken up from a nightmare, if something scary happened as a kid, I knew that this blue light would take care of me. That was my source of self-esteem or confidence. Whenever I got down, I would think about this moment and know that that was something special for me, and that I could lift myself up if I bring myself back to remembering that blue light each and every day. This was all throughout my life, even till this day. Um, I was very into art, drawing, all that stuff. I love it. As you can see, I have this right here through Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. Just a small portion, small piece. But love the detail. Love all that. I don't know. I In the beginning I didn't go to school for to learn how to draw. It was something that I had gotten into naturally, and I loved. I loved teaching myself. I was into comic books, superpowers, all that stuff. Your Spider-Man, your X-Men, all that stuff. And I believe it reminded me of this light and who we are as people. That we are something more than what we think or what we were told as a kid. You know. Um, Today, am I religious? No, I'm not. I respect people's religions. I expect the same back, whether I am not part of any religious sect or denomination. I am part of a community that has experienced near-death experiences, and I can relate with them. Well, moving on with my second experience with this light. All throughout, after I left the Catholic school, I was put into a public school. Uh, some people may say I had gotten into the wrong crowd, and I still, I still love those guys to death. They're a big part of my life, you know. Well, one day I had, and the reason why I explained that I got into the wrong crowd was that, even if I seen this blue light or God or felt this love, it's something amazing. You know, me not dealing with it, me not healing from it, and pursuing that, it hurt me more than it helped me. Um, and I'm glad that it's different today. I think the reason why I got into the wrong crowd was because of the experience I had, that I've just stuffed it up inside and tried to cover it up with other good feelings, you know, even with my relationships. And I was a bad kid. I stole, you know, I had I was a troubled teenager, you could say. So after high school, I ended up in the hospital, and after I was all better, I still didn't die. Well, actually, when I got into the hospital, they said my they said my heart rate was really high up there. I was at a party, and I had gotten slipped something. So I ended up with a rapid heartbeat, almost dying. Uh, Went to the hospital. After I had been stable and recovered, they were going to release me. And I was going down the hallway and made a right to another hallway and looked to my left. And when I looked to my left, there's this guy that stood there in the middle of the doorway, and behind him was the same blue light that I had seen as a kid, as a child. And this blue light this time was enormous. It filled the room, it filled the door. It was almost like I saw the guy, the light, and then everything else behind it was white, and the walls of the hospital and all that stuff. It just disappeared. I felt like I had been stopped in time, and I was having this experience. And I don't know where I went. I don't know what happened, because it was literally, I'm walking straight, I'm walking, and I turned to my left, and then boom, the images and the light came out, and this light was huge, man. I mean, I was just in awe, in awe. And I looked at this guy, and he said to me, "It's your fate, it's your destiny." And for a long time, he said something else, but I still to this day don't remember what that last thing he said. But for a long time, I used to think he was saying faith, and I didn't even know what fate meant at 20 years old. Fate, what is fate? So I assumed it was faith. So later on, I compared the words with faith and then destiny. And then I think I searched it somehow, or I don't know what happened, but I came to the conclusion that what he had said was fate. And that made more sense inside. And just as in the experience. So it just felt right. It just felt like that's what he said. Fate. Fate, not faith. Fate. It's your fate and it's your destiny. Because like fate and destiny have something in common. They're more aligned with each other. And then when I think about the whole picture, you have this guy saying fate, destiny. It's your fate, it's your destiny, and then this light behind him, and it's like boom, it's telling me that's where you're going. And let me tell you, when I hear people saying home, it's home. Yeah, that's home. I definitely 100% feel the same way. I agree with you. I mean, that feeling of home when you see that light and you experience that light, I mean, that's where you got to go. That's where you are going to go. You're not going anywhere else. That is where you're going. And did I see anything about, you know, was there a man with a white beard? No. I didn't experience that. So from what I'm saying is that all I know is that when I pass away, is that that's where I'm going. Like that is my fate. That is my destiny. And no one can take that away from me, no matter what. And then and that's my experience. And as soon as that happened, I continued from my turning to my left, seeing the experience, and then turning to the continue walking, and I said to myself, I said, "Oh no." I said, "Oh God." I was like, "They're never gonna believe me." I was like, "No one's gonna believe me." I was like, "I'm in a hospital. Here I am in a hospital, and I'm having this experience, and I'm like, they're gonna think I'm crazy, man." And I was like, so I kept it to myself, knowing that this is not the first time. And but was I happy? I was like, yeah, I was happy. I was happy that I saw that. And I was kind of like overwhelmed again. I had this feeling like there's another I got to deal with this again. And it came back to me twice. It came to my life not just once but twice, and it might happen again. But it was that reassurance that where I'm going, because like I said, I was always scared about heaven and hell. I was always more hell. I was always scared about going to hell. And the first time I felt like it was there to comfort me, to say, hey, you're not going to hell. And then the second time it was like more of a verbal confirmation, saying that this is your fate, this is your destiny. Things are different. You're not going to hell. As if there is no hell. There is no hell. There is no biblical heaven. It's just this light, and you go there and you cross over and you're happy in your home. Now, I don't know what is over there. I've never crossed over, but have I seen it? It was a guess. It's like I felt like I was at the doorway, or like that tunnel, man. I mean, like I never walked inside of it. You know, it was almost like it was amazing though. You know, the way to describe it, there is no words to describe it. You just have to describe this light. You just couldn't. You can try your best, but there is no way to describe this light. It's an amazing light. It's an amazing love, and one day I'm gonna get there. One day I'll be there because I'm not gonna live forever here in this world. You know. So later on, I finally started getting into um, researching this light, researching about the tunnel, and and you guys on here sharing your stories have brought me closer to fulfilling my journey, I want to say, because I can relate so much to you guys. The when you say when I find out that you see a blue light, or the way you feel, or how you describe the light, and it's like I remember one guy said when he saw the light he had screamed out, "Oh my God!" And I thought it was funny because um, I had done that too the first time. And there's so much identifying with you with a lot of people here. Um, I don't. I'm not out here to judge people, whether to say their experience is fake. You know, that was shocking to me that there are people out there doing that that's never experienced an experience like the ones that they're judging. But I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, if you say you had a near death experience, I'll let you be. You had a near death experience. If I can relate to you, I can relate to you. If you help me out, that's fine. But like I said, I'm not gonna judge you whether you're lying to me or not. I mean, you're really lying to yourself. So anyway, I am military now. I am I am Navy, and if you see those commercials, Enter the Blue, they're talking about the water, not the light. But I kind of felt like a little hint from God saying that this is where I would like to, this is where I would probably feel more comfortable. It's silly how you determine where you're going in your life in terms of your career when it comes to blue light. So I think that's one of the reasons why I had prayed to God, prayed to this light. I say light, I say God, God light. So about this big move when I was joined around 25, 26. Um, let's see. That is my experience, my two experiences. And I made this video because I hope I can share, I hope I can help someone else like you guys have helped me. And I think this is probably the best way that I can help other people who are searching like I was. Hopefully, that one person that is looking for help on this experience, like, has maybe some kid had a near death experience and seen this light and is lost and finds this video, that you're not alone, um, that there's many people like you, and and they will support you like they've supported me, as well as I will support you. And we learn a lot from you as well. So, thanks, guys. Any questions, just go ahead, ask away. I'm pretty sure that I will be making more videos in the future. And I like to give a shout out to Kelly in the Raw. That's her YouTube channel. I can identify with her and her experience. Some great videos there. Kelly, thank you. Um, Also to the NDE community channel. Great channel. You guys have helped me out too a lot. Um, One of your videos to the flight engineer that shared his life-changing spiritual experience. Um, it's good to see another Navy personnel. Navy. I'm not sure if you were chief now, but I'm glad to see that you're on YouTube sharing the near-death experience, because it really helps me out as well, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people too. So to the near death experiences channel, keep doing what you're doing. Kelly and the Raw, same thing. Um, it was great. Thank you guys. And any questions, just go ahead and ask. I'll be here. And I had a great time making this video, and I hope it helps anyone out too.